Hi there, this is Mr. Williamson, and this is Taxonomy Prep Quiz number 5. To take this, you're going to need a piece of paper and something to write with. There are 6 specimens and 15 questions, and you will have about 30 seconds for each slide. Remember, on the quiz, on the test, you'll have between 40 and 45 seconds, but you can always stop this video anytime you want and take a look at it. You ready? All right, let's go. First question, first specimen, 3 questions. Second specimen, 2 questions. Third specimen, 2 questions. Fourth specimen, 3 questions. Fifth specimen, 3 questions. And our last specimen, 2 questions. Okay, let's see how you did. This is the first one. It's a plant, obviously, just a simple plant. And the division is, well, unicellular. You can tell it's definitely got more than one cell. And it is all multicellular. By definition, they're all multicellular. You can't be anything else. So it's not both. Division is autotrophic, heterotrophic, can be both. Well, plants all make their own food. They don't ever digest. Now, you could talk about a Venus flytrap, but it doesn't make its own food. It's actually digesting the insects and things like that for minerals and supplements. But the food is actually still, it's autotrophic. So it makes its own food. It's autotrophic. And then what division is it? Well, it's not prokaryotic because those are simple cells. Those are bacterial cells. Think again, instead of prokaryotic, think prekaryotic, pre-organized cell. So they are all eukaryotic. They cannot be both. Okay? Whoops, sorry about that. All right. What division is this? Well, Chlorophyta would be algae, so no. Bryophyta is the mosses and the liverworts, things like that. Angiospermophyta is flowering plants. Phaeophyta is brown algae. So these are conifers. Think of it as a pine cone, a pine tree. All of them have pine cones. The organism is, well, again, it's a plant, so it makes its own food, so they're all autotrophic. Can't be heterotrophic. Heterotrophic goes out and get their food, and they cannot be both, so autotrophic. So, the next specimen. Okay, next specimen is the liver fluke, and this organism is parasitic. Just the term liver fluke should give you a clue. They are not free living. Free living basically means that they live on their own without a host, and obviously they cannot be both. How does the organism feed? It has a one-way digestive system. In other words, it has a mouth and an anus, and the food basically goes through one way. Think of it as the mouth is up here, and it goes through the digestive system and it comes out the anus. Now, I'm not sure if that's where they are, but that's the way to think about it, is that it's a one-way digestive system. A filter feeder is basically an organism that's aquatic usually and filters out the nutrients from the water. It doesn't absorb the host food. That would be something like a tapeworm would do. It's the same phylum, but it's a different class. And then a two-way digestive system also is the same phylum, but it's a different class. That would be the planaria, or the flatworms, and it would be like your mouth. You use your mouth to eat, and then whatever waste product would come back up through the same way. The sea urchin, what phylum is this? Okay, well, the answer is Echinodermata. It's a spiny-skinned organism, okay? And I don't know how you remember that, but those are spiny skin. Annelida are the segmented worms. Arthropoda are the jointed legs, like crabs and lobsters, insects, spiders, things like that. Mollusks are clams, snails, octopus, squid, things like that. And nematodes are roundworms. They're not obviously a sea urchin. What's symmetry? It has radial symmetry. It's round, if you look at it, and you can cut it any way. Whoops. And you can cut it any way you want through the middle. It's not asymmetrical because it definitely has symmetry, and bilateral means that you can only cut it one direction, down the length of it. How does the organism move? Water vascular system with tube feet. Doesn't have muscles. It has a water vascular system, almost like a hydraulic system in cars or something like that, but no muscles. So that doesn't get tired, and it doesn't, as your muscles wear out, we use them, and it kind of keeps going. It's not just propulsion, kind of like octopus, things like that, and they're not free floating. So, how many? The sponge, how many layers? There's 2. And we're talking about the layers as an ectoderm and endoderm. Other than that, there may be more cells in between the layers, or layers on those cells in that layer. But they only have 2 different types of layers, an endoderm and an exoderm. What's symmetry? And they are asymmetrical. It looks like it would be maybe symmetrical radial, because you could probably draw it this way, but all sponges do not have that look. They're asymmetrical. They're not radial or bilateral. And what habitat does it live in? Well, you look at the picture, they're all aquatic. Not terrestrial. We don't have any terrestrial sponges, and we don't have any amphibious sponges. Just a little side note, I kind of like the little diver guy over here. That's, kind of fun to do. Just saw him in the picture and thought it was a nice picture. Next specimen is a crocodile. What class? Well, it has scales, so it's probably going to be reptile. The only other one it could be with scales is a fish, and that's Osteichthyes, but we can rule that out because it's not a fish. It's not an amphibian with smooth, moist skin. It's not a mammal with fur, and it's not a bird with feathers. How many chambers in the heart? Well, again, remember that we go fish, chondrichthyes, Osteichthyes, amphibians, reptiles, birds or aves, and then mammals. And it goes 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, and 4. The only exception in this case is the reptiles. In the reptiles is the crocodiles and the alligators, which actually have 4. So that's one of the exceptions. It's kind of like in amphibians. The tadpoles have 2, but a frog has 3. So in this case, 4 is the correct answer. Even though most reptiles have 3, The crocodile has 4. And that concludes the quiz. I hope you did well. If you have any questions, make sure you take a look at your study guide or ask me in class. Make sure you take a look at some of the other videos that are online for this. I hope you're preparing for the test. Good luck.